Hello, from Saint-Pierre Lachine. Today I'm going to be doing a recipe. It's a really easy recipe. It's pasta, cheese, little meatballs, not big ones, and a tomato sauce. Now you can vary this. You can make it a cream sauce or rosé sauce. It's similar to making a mac and cheese, except it's not a mac and cheese. The recipe I have here today, it's going to be shell pasta, which is the little tiny shells, and I'm making mini meatballs, which are made with pork today. You can use beef, you can use veal, you can use just about anything you like. I mean, you can change things to your taste. I'm using a crushed tomato, which is a tomate bouillie, and to that I'm going to add herbs, dry herbs. And the key to dry herbs is the longer you let it sit, the more flavor that comes out of the dry herbs. And I'm using a mix of oregano and Italian spices, herbs. And I mixed it to my crushed tomatoes and I left it in the fridge. And to that, I also added onion powder, garlic powder, salt, a little bit, just a little bit, pepper, some paprika, and cayenne. I like spicy food. Some people like it too. You can use crushed chilies. It's your choice. But I find cayenne, it gives me what I like. And I left it in the fridge and I leave it for 24 hours. You know, when you pass to the fridge or you're going to get something or whatever, you can give it a little stir and all the flavors will go into your sauce. That sauce is going to be part of this recipe because when we make the meatballs, we're going to add the sauce, the meatballs, and we're going to add cheese. I'm using 3 kinds of cheese. You can use any kind you like. I'm using a pre-shredded cheese that you buy in the store. It's called a Fiesta mix. And we're going to add that with the sauce, which is cold. It's not heated because it's in the fridge. And we're going to add the cheese to it, and we're going to place it with the meatballs and the pasta. We're going to mix it all up and we're going to bake it after. And once we get to that point, I'll explain it. I'll show you the recipe. It's super easy. You can prepare part of it one day and use it the next day. So there's no rush. You can save time and you can make a meal for a family of 4 or 6 easily. Whatever you don't use, you can freeze. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes to give you step by step, and we'll go from there. Okay, this is the list of ingredients. I have some shell pasta. I have my Fiesta cheese. I have some ground pork, which is roughly 2 pounds. I have my seasoning, which is the Italian style. I have paprika, cayenne, onion powder, oregano, because I like a little bit more. Some garlic powder, some black pepper, and I use adobo. I find it a little less salty than just using ordinary salt, but it gives a nice flavor. Over here we have our tomato sauce that I let sit in the fridge for 24 hours with the dry herbs. I have a pot that I'm going to use to cook the little mini meatballs, and over here I have my shell pasta, which has already been cooked. It's going to save me time. I have 1 aluminum baking pan. This pan, everything will go into after, and it'll get baked at 350 degrees for not too long, maximum half an hour, just so that the flavors go into everything. Now in my meatballs, I put some herbs, spices. I put about a teaspoon of Italian herbs. I put some salt, pepper, some cayenne, and some paprika. I also took 2 slices of bread, any bread you like, or you can use breadcrumbs, and I cut them into very tiny cubes. And I let them sit for a little while. Now, what I'm going to take is about a teaspoon of mixture, and as you can see, I make a little ball. And I put it in the pot. And I'm going to do this until I've finished all this, and let them fry at a medium-high temperature. I don't want them too hot, I don't want it too low either. I just want them to get a nice little browning on them so that they're about 3/4 done. It doesn't take long to cook them, it takes only a few minutes. And like I said, this recipe can feed 4 to 6 people. And like I said, if you have extra, you can always freeze it. And later on, what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 cup of shredded cheese, which is, like I said, the 3 cheeses. And in this case, you can use any cheese you like. The mix I have is Monterey Jack. I know I have quesadilla. And the 3rd cheese is cheddar. And what I'm going to do is, in the cold sauce that I have here, I'm going to add 1 cup of the cheese, so that once I've made my meatballs and they're cooked, I'm going to add everything, the pasta, the sauce, and the cheeses that I mixed with the sauce after, all to the pasta and everything, so it's all mixed up, and we're going to put it in the baking pan. Usually when it's these aluminum pans, I put it on another baking tray, so if there's a leak or if it overflows, it'll fall onto the other pan and not in your oven. And in my pot, I didn't put a lot of oil. I just put about a tablespoon or so, and I coat the pan with either a pastry brush or whatever. Because I'm using ground pork, it's going to release some of the fat, and that's one of the reasons why I put bread cubes in it. It'll help absorb some of it and keeps the meat from getting dry. It stays moist. And as you can see here, these are the meatballs. They're almost done. My meatballs are all done. I mix them in with my pasta. And as you can see, it's nicely mixed. I have here 1 cup of the cheese, which I add to my sauce. And once it's all mixed, I'm going to add it to my pasta. Mix it. I'm going to put it in my baking pan. I've already preheated the oven to 350 degrees so that it'll cook. Okay, I've had the pasta in the oven for half an hour under the tin foil so it keeps some of the humidity. Now I'm going to sprinkle some more cheese, but this time on top. You can use mozzarella, you can use the Fiesta mix. Then we're going to put this in the oven without turning the aluminum paper back on, just so the cheese melts. Okay, now I'm about to take it out. I put it on the broiler for about a minute. It's just so that all the cheese is beautifully melted. And here we have, ladies and gentlemen, our nice pasta grazzini. I hope you enjoy, and bon appetit.